Everybody, welcome to part 4 of your card. Your card should look like this. You should have all your pictures inside your circles, right? Take off that background for a second. You should have all your pictures inside there. Mine are a little bit all over the place. We'll move them around as need be, and they should all be in a group called circles. Everything should be in there. So you should have 12 layers inside that circles group. All right, let's open up that circles group a little bit, and I'm going to close this just a little bit so I can see everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Now, here's the trick. If you start moving circles around, you have to make sure you move the picture around with it. Okay? So, for example, if I want to move her at the top around, I have to move the picture layer with it. So select both of those layers, and then you can move them around. Otherwise, you're going to, like for instance, I got to move her because she's kind of eating this guy's head. And as a matter of fact, I have to move all of them down a little bit because they're kind of eating into the top of this card a bit more than I wanted to. So I'm actually just going to grab the circles folder layer up here at the top, and then I can move them all as a group, as opposed to moving them individually. I'm pretty close to where I want to have them. Like, I think she might be a little bit in the way, and I may scale the whole thing down just a bit, right? And maybe that sailboat is kind of too far over, right? So, try to reorganize my layers just a little bit. If you notice in my sample here, the sailboat is actually under the zipline girl. So if I want to do that, I have to make sure I grab both the layers, not those layers, the sailboat layers. I have to make sure I grab both of those if I want to move them. Otherwise, I'll break the mask. So I'm going to move those down underneath the sailboat. Where'd that go? Oh, that's because I moved them in the wrong spot. It keeps moving. Oh, we'll just keep it for now. But you see what I'm trying to do here. Actually, it still kind of works really well. Okay, so let's go with that. You should have something that looks relatively close to this, okay? Hopefully you didn't have any trouble. It's pretty simple stuff. We've done this in class before. If you need to go back to the previous one, go ahead and go through it. But this is what you should have, 12 layers inside your circle group. Now, one thing we are going to do is we are going to add this stroke. If I zoom in on this, you can see there's kind of a stroke around this. And we're probably not going to use this aqua, although we could. We're going to just probably start off with something really simple like white. Now, the stroke, the effect itself doesn't go on the picture. It goes on that gray circle that we originally built. I'm going to turn off a bunch of stuff so you can see just one picture here. All right, so I have my zipline girl, and if I turn off the picture, you can see that gray circle that we started with. The effect is going to go on the gray circle, not on the girl. So if we double click in this gray area over here on our first ellipse, right, we're going to get the layer styles box. And what we're going to do is we are going to turn on the stroke radio button. We're going to give this a little bit of stroke, and you can see it already put one on. So turn on that stroke radio button, right, and click on that, and inside. So let's change it first of all to, I like 13 as a size. That's not horrible. Let's do 13, and let's do outside. Yeah, let's do outside stroke. Blend mode is normal. Probably want to turn the opacity all the way up. And I do have a gradient going there, but I'm just going to change it to a solid color. And let's just go with white. And maybe 15 might be a better. Let's try 15 for a number. So 15 for the size, outside for the position, blend mode is normal, and opacity is at 100, and I just picked a white color. All right, and we'll see how that goes from there. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. So now if you look down on that particular layer, there is a stroke effect on it, and it's got the let me move this over just a little bit so we can see it. There we go. And it's got the little effects icon on there. So what we're going to do now is since we've done it once, we can now apply that stroke to everything. Come on, Photoshop, work with me, baby. Work with me. There we go. So now we can grab that effect that we had and apply it to all the other gray circles. And to do that, we're going to hold down the Alt key. First of all, I'm going to collapse that. There we go. We're going to hold down the Alt key, and we're literally going to grab that FX icon. So holding in your Alt key, we're going to steal it, and I'm going to go up to 2 layers and drop it off, and it's going to put it somewhere else, right there on the surfer guys. And then I'm going to grab that and go up 2 layers on the ellipses and put it there on the hula girls. And I'm going to keep skipping 2 layers until I have white circles or white strokes all the way around, just like that. And that is how you can steal effects from one layer to another. Pretty simple, pretty fast. I wonder if you can put a drop shadow on everything here. Let's find out. You can. Let's do that. I always forget we can do that. We can apply, not only can we apply effects to that layer, to an individual layer, but we can apply a layer effect to a group of layers. So we're going to put a drop shadow not just on every single layer, but just on the circles group itself. So if you double click anywhere in the gray area on this group, you'll get a layer style again, just like normal, and we will turn on a drop shadow. Ooh, and that one's kind of obnoxious. All right. And before we do that, I always like to make sure I'm in the Move tool up here, okay? Because you can use the Move tool inside this layer effect. So I was trying to make sure I'm in the Move tool. I'll double click again, and I'll turn the drop shadow on. And the reason you're in the Move tool is because now it lets you reach inside of your document itself and move it by hand. And because of that, I'm going to do this and drag this layer out. And this is a nice little effect because it now lets you separate all these elements from the background. It kind of gives it a little 3D dimension thing. And maybe we should put a drop shadow on that wave. Who knows? So anyway, here's my settings. You don't necessarily have to use them if you want. You can do it to taste. Maybe you want a harder edge. But anyway, I got normal. It's a black shadow. 65 opacity. Angle is 35. It kind of doesn't matter because we moved it by hand. Distance is 33. Spread is 0. Size is 8. And the size is what helps feather the edge a little bit. But like I said, you can use your settings, whatever you want to do, to taste. And that's pretty cool. I wonder, since we're putting effects on the group, I wonder if we can put that little gradient effect on there. That gradient overlay effect we've been doing all semester that I've been bragging about like I invented it and I didn't. Kinda. If you want, you can kind of see what it does there. That's kind of the effect it's doing. And if I turn it off and on, it's kind of just making this white little highlight line go all the way up and down. And it's an overlay, so it's gradient, black and white, overlay, and it's reflected, so it's putting black on both sides of the highlight, essentially. All right, so that's kind of what I'm doing. It kind of works. I mean, that's a taste thing. Maybe you don't want to do it, maybe you do, and maybe I'll move it around a little bit. Kind of a taste thing. It's your call. Don't necessarily have to do that. Awesome. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. By the way, let's real quick, since we're thinking about it, if we go back into those background elements on the waves right there, that guy, let's drop a little shadow on that guy. Double click over here on the right side, get the layers style, click on a drop shadow and turn it on, and then you could sort of play. Was I not in the Move tool? No, it was in the Move tool. I wonder why it's not letting me do it. Drop shadow. Oh, you know why? Remember when I told you, oh, darn it. Remember when I once told you to turn off this nightmare use global light? Always turn off that thing. Always, always, always turn it off. I don't know why it's on by default, but it sucks. Turn that thing off. Make sure there's no mark there. Now it'll let me move my drop shadow around. It should. There it goes. I might just use a subtle, subtle drop shadow right there. Nothing too crazy. I want it to be a little bit lighter. All right, let's go with something like that. You don't even necessarily have to do that, but It's to taste. All right, we should be looking pretty good now. Everybody's blowing my phone up all of a sudden, but they will just have to wait. All right, so you should have something now that looks remarkably close to this. Okay, go back and watch again if you need to. I didn't even put drop shadows on these circles. I guess I could have, but I kind of like it better with than without. It seems a little flat over here. All right, when we come back next, we are going to load some brushes. We're going to put in this tree here. We're going to put in these birds, and we're going to put that sun. So I will see you back. Go get a drink, go to the bathroom, do whatever you got to do, and then I'll catch you back here in a few minutes.